All right. Really excited about where this team's at right now. Just finished up practice 11 for spring ball. Uh, we're starting to catch our stride in all three phases. Our student athletes have done an amazing job of adjusting to a new group of coaches. Not all new faces, but a new group, a new collection of leadership, and I've been really pleased with the progress that our team's making. The news that broke yesterday in terms of where our team can anticipate playing our home games next year is something that we're really excited about. We have such an incredible future to look forward to with the new Ryan Field. Coming in 2 seasons, there's a lot of positive momentum coming off of last year, and the task of figuring out where we're going to play for 2 years in between is no easy task. Something that I don't envy those that had to go through that process. There's a lot of factors that in my, me and my role I certainly don't understand. But what I can say is I'm just really proud of university leadership and all that were involved, that worked diligently to explore all options fully, and at the end of the day I think made a decision that is in the best interest of our student athlete experience. You've heard me talk about that, how critical that is to us, and that's offered here at Northwestern. It's Big Ten football. It's a world-class education. It's involving our campus community and our students, and this staying on campus, finding a creative way to stay on campus does that. And I'm so excited for our student athletes. I'm so excited for our student body, the campus community, and very, very thankful to President Schill, Peter Barris, Luke Fagora, Jesse Marks, Dr. Gregg, and there's countless others. But this, at the end of the day, this was a decision that had to be made far above my head, and I'm just really, really excited and really grateful for the decision that's been made in the best interest of our student athletes. And I think it really creates a unique opportunity for us as a university to create an atmosphere and an environment on campus that will be remembered for a long, long time.
Is there a sense of relief for you after some of the months of uncertainty there, knowing that the majority of your home games are going to be true home games for you in Evanston?
Yeah, no, Matt, I try and stay, really narrowly focused, when it comes to, okay, wherever we end up playing, my job is to make sure that our team's ready to go. But as that first game, approached and got closer and closer, there's things that start to run through your head, and to know where a majority of our home games are going to be played, those select games, is something that allows us to really start planning and be intentional about what type of rhythm and routine that we want to create for our guys as we approach game day.
You had said during the pro day that you had the challenge of bridging the gap if you weren't on campus. Now that that's off your plate, you can build on the momentum of last season. How valuable is that for you guys?
It's so valuable. I just go to the experiences that I've been able to have here with my family and with others in Welsh Ryan. Just what that environment means to our student athletes on the floor, our students in the student section, our campus community. It's what makes Northwestern so unique. It's Big Ten atmosphere. It's Big Ten athletics with world-class education, and for us to find a creative way to do that on campus for football, to bridge that gap, is, it takes some creativity and some willingness to. Again, I think it speaks to the creative thought and leadership to make this happen.
Coach, you talked about last year, when you got into Ryan Field, the ability to create that routine that the guys were used to and get you back to that routine. How much of an advantage to have that routine coming into your practice facility now on Saturday for game day, instead of maybe having to create a new routine every week, playing whether it be SeatGeek, Wrigley, just having a different environment week to week?
know, I mean, David, it's huge, you know, and now there's a challenge on the front end of that. It'll be new in some ways, and there's a lot of logistical things that will go into this. Still a lot of work ahead for a lot of people, and very thankful for all those that are embarking on that challenge. But it'll be so great once we kind of find that rhythm and find that niche and sort that out to have that on campus, to be right here in our own facility is really critical.
Coach, what are your aspirations for next season's game day environment at the expanded Martin Stadium?
You know, I would say it's such a unique opportunity. It's hard to anticipate what that should feel like, but you know, I think what I'm most excited for is just involvement. You know, involving our students, involving our campus, involving our season ticket holders. You know, what our student athletes will be able to experience post game. You know, some of the most memorable things you experience as a student athlete is post game, after a great win and your family's there and they've been tailgating, you know, stepping outside those white lines, going back, taking your pads off, coming back out and sharing, you know, a tailgate with your I mean, it's involvement, you know, and that's what I'm most excited for. And I think there's an opportunity here, you know. I honestly, I think back to when College Game Day was here. You know, where did they shoot College Game Day from? They shot it from the Lakefront. You know, and campus is buzzing, and there's people walking, and whether they're coming to the game or they're not, there's just an energy on campus. And I think that, you know, to answer your question directly, I hope everyone feels like they can find their own way to be involved in that game day experience.
Coach, you've got like Ohio State, Wisconsin on the schedule. So when you think about the real big programs, would it be your preference to have them here or at another venue where there's more fans who could be there to create that kind of home field advantage for you guys?
Yeah, you know, it's a great question. To be honest with you, I don't know if I've thought about it or have a preference. You know, some of those decisions, you know, not all our home games are going to be played here. At least that's the anticipation. It'll be select home games. So allowing, you know, other people to sort that out and figure out which games will be here on campus and, you know, the potential of other venues. But what I will say is I think there's a unique opportunity here on the Lakefront to create truly a home field advantage. Smaller venue, but, you know, you're talking to a small college, you know, guy, you know, played Division II football. You know, what we were able to create in our time, even at UNI in Cedar Falls, and then especially at North Dakota State. I mean, that capacity at NDSU maxed out at 19,000, and it may have been one of the most difficult places to play in all of college football. I'm excited to see what our fans and our students can create on the Lakefront in a small capacity right on top of you. Should be a bunch of purple, if not, you know, almost all purple, and that's something to look forward to.
Coach, have you been given a start of construction date? Do you know how this will impact like the end of spring ball, summer camps, fall camp for you guys?
We those are things that are still in the works, Matt. What I will say is, you know, this endeavor involves a lot of hard work, a lot of planning, a lot of foresight, and on the back end of this decision, there's still so much work to be done. This is going to put more work on people's plates, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate, you know, so many different people stepping up and saying, hey, and the interest of our student athletes in the university, hey, let's go attack this. And I think someone, you know, another group to mention, not just mention, but thank, is you know, our other head coaches in the department. You know, at the end of the day, this decision will impact how we practice in football. It will, in some ways, impact field hockey and men's and women's soccer and lacrosse and how we structure practices and how that plays out. And I just can't tell you how much, you know, I appreciate our other head coaches, Kelly Amante Hiller, Tracy Fuchs, Michael Moynihan, Russell Payne. I mean, just their willingness to navigate this with us and be solutions-based. And we have a really, really special collection of head coaches here at Northwestern. A lot of people that I admire, look up to, and have learned a lot from since I've been here.
You mentioned your appreciation for coaches of other sports. What have your conversations been like with field hockey coach Tracy Fuchs or how might the stands on the stadium, will they have any impact on field hockey? And maybe from a more positive perspective, being able to seat more fans at games like lacrosse and soccer on that field.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't have all the details on that, but what I can say is Tracy's been amazing. All the coaches that I've mentioned have been amazing. I think, the things that have come up are all the things we're all asking is, what does this look like? How does this affect certain things? How does this affect games and schedules? And some of those things we've worked through. There's a lot that we haven't, that we still got to continue to work through. But what I have absolute confidence in is there's a group that's willing to be solutions-based, willing to be great teammates and work alongside each other and have one another's back. And that's something that probably can't be said in all situations like this. And I'd be really proud to be part of a group like this.
Coach, more on the football front. What have your biggest takeaways been? I know you still have like a week left this spring, but what's your biggest takeaways so far from spring?
Really excited about the development in our offensive line room. I mean, for a while there, we only had 7 guys practicing. That got bumped up to 8. Excited about where we'll get to by fall with guys coming off an injury. But I'm just it's very similar to what was created last spring with our D-line. 7 D linemen practicing, forced development, a lot of reps, guys coming off an injury. It created this sense of urgent development and also a sense of this is all we got, so we got to figure it out. And our offensive line, has really shown some incredible strides so far, which I'm really excited about. I'm excited about what we're seeing, overall with our offense. The return of Bryce, Kirtz, and AJ Henning is huge. The development of the guys around them in that room is really exciting. The depth in that room, you can just see that depth building, which will only help Bryce and AJ become greater weapons. There's more threats around them. You can tell our running backs are excited about how the run game is designed. And I think offensively we're just doing a good job of building this thing and finding ways to stress the defense. And on the defense side of the ball, excited about the depth that is built at all 3 levels right now. And I can't rave about Tim McGargle enough. I mean, the job that he's done in keeping things consistent moving forward while also being hungry to find ways that we can continue to do things better and evolve as a defense is something that I really admire and have been so impressed with.
With Tim now running defense, how much has it allowed you to be able to get more involved in all 3 phases as a true head coach instead of also having to worry about, hey, I got to make sure our defensive install's the way it's supposed to be, making sure our game plan is the way it's supposed to be, now being able to act more as that true head coach and be involved in all 3 phases of the game?
I'm so grateful to Tim, to Zach, and to Paul Creighton. I mean, to be honest with you, there's no doubt that I feel very comfortable stepping out of a room and having full trust that those guys are going to have that phase of our team ready to go for every single practice. It has allowed me to be involved in all 3. And to be honest with you, it's also allowed me to be involved in a lot of things that, I never knew were on a head coach's plate in the off season. I'm still learning a lot, and you start to realize in this role that a lot of your day-to-day has nothing to really do with, on-field football. And there's good and bad to that, but having 3 people in all 3 phases leading those areas that I have full trust in is something that I'm really grateful for.
Coach, how have you seen your new coaching staff hires and some of your early enrollees really acclimate to the program at this point?
Yeah, no, I'm really proud of the way that the group's acclimated. Our early enrollees are doing a great job. There's again, Northwestern, isn't a fit for everybody. I mean, it's quarter system, January 3rd, let's go. I think the biggest adjustment, honestly, is the football side's big, but it's the adjustment to the academics. But our guys are catching their stride. They're doing a nice job. And then with the coaching staff, I've just been really impressed with the group. It's a bunch of low ego guys that show up and work, Low ego, high output is a good combination. But there's some adjustment, especially in recruiting, an understanding of what it looks like to recruit, young men that fit the profile to be successful at Northwestern.
Could you explain a little more about what you said earlier about how playing in a small stadium might actually make it harder? And is this going to propose any challenges for your kickers?
Yeah, I think Evanston and the Lakefront has always posed some issues to kickers. And hopefully that we can use that as a home field advantage in terms of our guys just being accustomed to that. And again, I think there's just something about, you know, a small venue, you know, whatever that number ends up being, when it's on top of you, when it's full, when people are excited and want to be a part of it, it creates an energy source that, you know, regardless if you're talking about 100,000 or, you know, what I experienced in North Dakota State, those 19,000 fans were on top of you or they were ready to go. I'm really excited about what our entire community is going to be able to create in terms of a home field advantage. And we all know that's something that'll be led by our students. I mean, you know, again, come back to Welsh Ryan. No one talked about the capacity all year about Welsh Ryan. What they talked about is the environment that was created. And we have this opportunity to create, you know, an incredible environment, which it's going to be awesome.
Do you have a ballpark for what capacity will be?
I don't. I mean, I know the people that are in the weeds on this, you know, have there's been all sorts of numbers floated out. There's certain, you know, there's a lot of logistics that go into that. But what I am confident in is in the design. They've been very conscious of ensuring that we don't negatively impact any other sports in terms of the way that we design, and also make sure that we do our best to create something that, you know, has our fan base involved and active in the game.
How do you think playing in a smaller venue like on the Lakefront right here affects player mentality versus playing another Big Ten team in a Ryan Field, a stadium-like environment?
No, that's a great question. I feel really confident. I'll be excited for you to talk to our players. I'm really confident that our guys are amped up for this opportunity. You know, again, you know, we've talked about how unique Northwestern is and the opportunity is. Like, talk about unique. I mean, a temporary structure that's going to, you know, act as our home field for 2 seasons. That's pretty unique. Right on the lakefront, you know, looking out on the Chicago skyline, part of one of the most beautiful campuses in the world, like pretty unique. And I think the thing that's kind of neat about it is our guys will embrace it, and there may be some other Big Ten opponents that go, what's this all about? You know, and that's okay. You know, at the end of the day, it's played. The game's played in between the lines, and at the end of the day, as we progress into that, you know, my focus has to continue to stay, you know, on the target. Of my role is to make sure that, you know, our team, as we progress through spring, summer, and then fall camp, wherever we play, is ready to compete our tails off and find ways to win football games in the Big Ten.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For you, I know this is another year back. What made you decide to come back to Northwestern for your final season of eligibility instead of declaring for the NFL?
Yeah, so this was like actually a pretty hard decision. It was mainly due just to all the injuries I had in the past years. That's kind of like limited me throughout the year. And then we also talked to the scouts, and they said that they liked what they saw last year. I just needed to put another year of production on film. So that was one of the main reasons I came back.
Can you just dive a little further into what the scouts said about your game and what they're looking for now for you to do this year? Is it just staying on the field more?
Yeah, so as far as like what I did well, they thought I did a really good job catching the ball, running routes, and being a deep threat. As far as what I need to work on, I need to get in the weight room, get bigger. They want to see me put on about 10 pounds. I'm sitting at I was at 185 during the season. They want me at 195. And really just my run after catch, as far as that goes. And then just continue to do the things that I do well on the field. So, yeah.
Obviously, you've had a wonderful experience at Northwestern. What does it mean to know you'll be able to play these games at a temporary stadium still on campus? What does it mean?
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, being here for 6 years, I've always thought man, it'd be cool to play out there. Just thinking, just not realistically, but now that it's pretty realistic, it's kind of crazy, and it's all kind of come full circle. It'll definitely be an experience. So yeah, looking forward to that.
For Xander, Lakeside Stadium was announced yesterday. You'll now be playing your senior season for the most part in Evanston. How important is it for you to have a lot of those games be played on campus rather than across the state or elsewhere?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Coach Braun has been heavy on talking about our home field advantage, and being able to get students there is pretty awesome. I'm not sure how many students would have gone out and trekked an hour drive away. I know Wrigley has been played in the past, and it's fun to play out there, but playing on campus, be able to have students walk over from Bob and from the dorms is pretty awesome to get those guys there.
Marita, what was your initial reaction when you heard that you were going to be playing at Martin Stadium and not halfway across the state?
Yeah, no, the first thing I thought was how comfortable the team will be just because, like, we practice out there every day. So I feel like that'll be an advantage to us. But I definitely thought about the weather. That'll definitely be a factor. But I feel like we'll definitely be prepared because, like I said, we practice out there every day. So
What is the weather like in the dead of winter when you're practicing out there? Because I know that you're referring to just being cold and windy and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean it's pretty brutal at times. There's definitely days where like you remember and you're like, man, that was cold. Like I need to go get in the hot tub like right now. But it's mainly just the wind. But that's something that like we come across every day out there, even in the summer. So it's just really just making sure that we're practicing out there during the week and making sure that come Saturday we're ready to go. So
When you envision an opposing team coming there, especially next year USC, one from like a warm weather climate. What do you think they would feel?
I think they're going to hate it. I think they're not going to want to play. I think that's going to be a big advantage that we'll have. We'll be at home. They'll be far away, especially a team like USC, and they're not going to want to play on the cold lakefront. So definitely looking forward to watching that game for sure.
Yeah, a lot of games like that in the Big Ten, especially late months, November, December. It's about who wants it more and who's going to embrace the cold and not make it as an excuse and go out there and play as hard as you can.
For Xander, Tim McGarrigle's taken over as the DC. He was your linebackers coach last year. How has that relationship evolved as you probably step into the Mike role and he's stepped up as D coordinator?
Yeah, he's an awesome coach, and I've learned so much from him. And the primary reason for my success is being under him and having him as a mentor and helping me develop my game. And it's pretty awesome to have him still in the linebacker room, so he's still coaching us and leading us in meetings every day. So it's a huge blessing to have him there to kind of keep the same structure and how things have been. And in terms of the defense, it's a similar defense to what it's been, but and Coach Braun's still heavy in it. He's a head coach now, primarily, but he's still helping out on the defense and still has a hand in it. And we run a lot of scheme based on what McGargle has had inputs in. So I think it's a pretty good step for him, and I'm excited for our defense this year.
For either one of you, obviously since the last home game in the fall, there's been a lot of talk of where home games next year and the year after could be played. When did you guys first start hearing about the possibility of playing at Martin Stadium?
I think I first saw it on Twitter. It was probably the first place, and then didn't get officially announced until yesterday, a couple minutes before got leaked out. Dr. Gregg sent us an email, but just the possibility of that was kind of crazy because we were, like I've seen on Twitter, around the same time about how we were going to play in multiple different locations. And that's kind of a whole nother change in terms of playing maybe a Wrigley game at Soldiers, SeatGeek Stadium. So having consistency is also going to be super huge in terms of game day ritual and using the facility, Walter Athletic Center, best facility in the country. So it's going to be a huge advantage to us.
Bryce, you guys getting a new offensive coordinator this season. How have you guys meshed with Lujan, and what do you expect? What do you expect to see from this new offense next year?
Yeah, no, Lujan, he's real young, so we've related to him on that level. He's definitely like brings the more like, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but like the game that we play today in football, like he definitely brings that. And that's a lot of like big plays. We spread the ball around a lot. Like our tight ends are getting a lot more touches, which is good to see. And I feel like that just opens up everything else as far as like run game, and then also like the receivers as well, because now teams have to focus on the tight ends and not just the receivers when it comes to the pass game.
If you had your preference, and you think about a real big time program like Ohio State or Wisconsin coming in here next year, would you rather have them here in an intimate venue, or would you rather have them somewhere else where there's more fans, in theory, more fans supporting you guys, more crowd noise?
I would definitely say, I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly, because like I don't really care about Ohio State. I care about us, and we're so used to playing. We may have a lot of fans, we may not. Away games, we typically have more fans than home games in the past, but it really doesn't matter to us as long as we're ready to go, locked in. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Bryce, for you, you're back, AJ's back, obviously Kevin's now moved on to the NFL, there's going to be the third receiver. How have you kind of tried to help these young guys get ready to go through spring, through the winter, through workouts, now through spring ball, to make sure that whoever steps into that third spot out there can make sure that he's ready to go week one?
Yeah, just through the off season and through the spring, I really just try to push them, to just be the best they can be. Whether that be, showing up early, going up to the weight room before practice, getting in some extras. And then when it comes to, this spring, just looking over the playbook the night before, making sure you know what you're doing when you're coming out here. Because that's the biggest thing, especially with the new offense. You want to know what you're doing so you can play, because you can be as good as you can be, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to play. So.
Xander, I kind of asked about it before, but I just want to confirm. Are you going to be the defense's play caller this year, and what has that additional responsibility been like? You talked to some of the other Mikes over the past years so far?
I'm planning on still playing Will linebacker, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to be playing a little bit of Mike. But our whole defense usually communicates well on the field, so it's definitely a little bit different, making the calls a little bit more. But we still have two awesome guys who are going to be calling next to me. So all three linebackers do a good job of communicating up front to the D line and then up backwards to the back seven.